Hello everyone, I hope you can hear me. I'm not sure. It says we're live. Can you guys hear me? Hi everyone, I'm Amanda with Pear Blossom Press and I really hope we're live. We tested everything like an hour ago, made sure we can get in there, went in there, everything was perfect and we're like, okay, cool. And then then it didn't work when we tested again. It's always technology, right? Well, I want to start by saying congratulations, Debbie. You hit 8,000 subscribers on YouTube, and that is awesome. Fantastic job. Also, happy birthday. For those of you that are hopping along with us all day, awesome. That's so good to have you guys here. If you're just coming in from Monica's channel and you don't know me, I am Amanda with Pear Blossom Press. Pear Blossom Press is kind of known for our lights. We make little flashlights that are really easy to make light up cards. So those are a lot of fun to play with. We're going to play with one kind today. And then I like interactive stuff. So I'm going to make this a double interactive. I am playing with a lot of Trinity stamp stuff today because this summer they came out with a release that had a lot of space in it. And when I was a little girl, I wanted to be an astronaut. So the space release is like, it still has my heart. Even though there's a lot of fun new stuff coming out for, you know, all the new releases. And I have a little bit of the new stuff in there too. But I wanted to bring out the space stuff again because it's awesome. And for those of you that saw Carrie Rhodes yesterday on the Trinity channel, she made a really cool little magic wand. And I asked her this morning, can I use that idea today? And she said, yeah. So we're going to do that. So it's going to be a shaker card with a magic wand and a light. So there's a whole lot, right? So I have done a little bit of homework. Let me switch down here and kind of show you what I've already been working with. And I'm going to change my screen a little bit here so I can see what you can see, hopefully. But let me show you some of the homework I've done ahead of time. I used alcohol inks on Yupo paper, which is always fun to make galaxy backgrounds. Galaxy and underwater, those are like my favorite to make. So I have this left over from actually earlier when I was playing with it. And then of course it always looks terrible until you splatter white on it and then you have a beautiful galaxy. I did cut a blue glitter piece of stock to be the frame of my shaker, but I don't want it to stay blue. So we are going to dress that up with a little more alcohol ink. Per Carrie's instructions, I grabbed some thin chipboard and I did die cut my frame. This is 4 times and I've already put it together so it would stay. After we dress this up, we'll put some acetate behind it and then turn it into our shaker cover. I went ahead and, let's see, what is this guy called? It is called Another Orbit, coordinating dies. And I went ahead and I already colored and cut out 4 pieces and then I went on the edges to be dark so that I wouldn't have a white outline, but I also wanted some of the stars, so I just used a white gel pen. And can you see there's a little bit of detail there, just a little bit, so that the black outline doesn't look quite as noticeable either. And honestly, that's not black. I think I used a C7, something along those lines, so that it'll blend in and the little white will make it look like it's part of the scene. We are actually going to, he's not going to be in the shaker, he's going to be down below, and we're going to stamp push there. So there's an extra layer because we're going to sandwich our light in between here. So I've got that cut out. I did cut out the acetate already. I'm not sure if you can see that. A yellow circle, because I want my card base to be white is kind of boring. Black means I would need to cut something else so that you could actually write on it. Yellow, I thought, would be nice, a pop of color. It'll be hidden from the front, but on the inside, I was thinking we can stencil a little bit of like the moon pattern in there so I can still write on it and it'll look, I don't know, otherworldly. We'll see. So we've got an hour, we'll play, and that'll be one of the things that we do towards the end in case I run out of time. I did also go ahead and cut out 2 black stars, and then I cut 4 of these bars. 3 of them are already glued together. The 4th one I left so that I would remember to tell you that they're stacked. I let me show you the different sets we're using real quick so that you guys can see that another orbit set with the dies. We'll try to use the moon layer stencil inside. And then this is this is an add-on for the circle card that makes like a cute little house, like snow globe. I want to do this one as a gingerbread, but it's Christmassy and today I'm doing birthday. So I thought this would be really cute. And if you're not familiar with Trinity stamps, they have tons of embellishments, including the little clay pieces that look like candy. So I'm really thinking he would be cute, cut out of like brown paper with little candy and probably light up those windows, but not today. This is the circle set B. There are 2 sets from Trinity Stamps. I've already pulled out the one that I wanted. This is the same size for my acetate, and that's what I'll also cut the background out of, the Yupo paper. But there are 2 sets, so if you need circles, get the A and the B, and you will have like every single size. This one is called Flight Deck, and I pulled out the comet and the little star cluster here. There's 3 little stars that I want to cut into my Yupo paper so that light will come through. There is a little star that's in this set, Happy Little Tree Farm, which is an older set, but it's super cute. You know, I just needed the one little tiny star out of there. And then I grabbed this big star for my wand out of this coffee cup set, and the circle base. That's what I cut my card base from. Okay, so you have the ingredients there, and I'll come back and edit and add the list of all the ingredients. We will also be using magnets. These are little 1 millimeter thick discs. You're going to need 2 of them, and then we're going to use twinkle lights today too. And then also the PB Press stamp and die, just because I need the word push. Okay. Oh, and embellishments. We're going to use the stars. They're little holographic stars. They're fun. My husband Micah is in the background. Hopefully he's going to read comments to me or questions if they come up, because I'm going to stick my face down into my desk and I may not see them. So don't be afraid to put like all caps or something like that, or say, hey Micah, tell Amanda, whatever, and he'll see it. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to move everything off to the side here and just get these out of the way for right now. And what I wanted...
Everybody loves the background. So
oh, good.
Do you have any instructions on the background?
As far as the background goes, oh, the one thing that is in here that you may not see, there's a little bit of pearl in there, which I like because it gives a little metallic. It's probably not coming through on camera, but it does make a nice finish. And then, so, okay, if you're using Yupo paper, it's like a plastic paper. It's not really paper. So your alcohol ink stays on top, which is really nice because your blender solution, everything stays wet longer. But when you're done, sometimes it's sticky. So I will tell you, my one tip for that is after it's done, if you want, you can put foil on it to, you know, the stickiness will grab the foil, you peel it up, and then you'll have veins of foil in there, which is really fun. I didn't need that for space, so I just took my powder tool and kind of went over it at the end and then brushed off any extra powder. So that will make sure it's not sticky for you. Okay, so I want to pick a part of space that I think is pretty. Man, this whole thing is kind of nice. I kind of don't want to cut into it, but we will. That's what I made it for, right? And then I want, there's that comet. I like this spot, I think. And then we'll put a comet. And I've got some low tack tape here. And then a star. I'm going to kind of spread them out a little bit. It doesn't exactly matter because it's space, right? Nobody's going to notice. And then this is a little cluster of 3 stars. So we're going to make all 3 of those light up with one of the lights. Okay, so I am going to run this through my die cutting machine really fast, which is behind me. And we'll get that going. And then I'm going to bring in, I brought a Sharpie so that I would remember to go around the edges of my chipboard pieces, just because we don't want that to be ugly. Sounds like my die cutting machine just finished. I don't know if you guys have played with an electric die cutting machine. I make so many kits every year that it gets kind of ridiculous, the amount of die cutting that we do. So I invested in an electric machine, and man, it's my favorite thing. It's got a big bed, so I think it's technically an A4 bed because it's European sized, but that still fits 8.5 by 11 just fine. And I'll show you in a second how big the bed is. And then also scrapbook.com, their magic mat, they have a big magic mat, which is bigger than my machine. So I had to trim it down, which was not hard. I just cut I did use a good coping saw to cut my magic mat. And then I had an extra piece for my small die cutting machine. And then I still have extra. So, and I'll show you that in a minute. First, I'm just going around the edges. This I probably should have done ahead of time. And I could cut black foam tape, and that takes just as long, probably. But this is more precise. And like I said, this is 4 layers of black foam tape, and I'm not using a good marker. This is a Sharpie, just because you know what this does to your markers, right? And I really only need to hit the edges because we won't see the top or the bottom, but I will hit the inside too. And I think the Sharpie is dying. And I'll use some Amadex on my fingers when I'm done. If you guys haven't, Amadex has been around forever, but it was fairly new to me. Linda Gorman, she introduced me to it at one of the Creativations, one in Ohio. They were there, and apparently it's like been around forever, been in Good Housekeeping's like favorite things since the 70s or something. And it's still family run, and they are very nice people. The family is so nice. And this stuff is like soap-based, water-based soap, and it gets inks off anything. You can get it off clothes, off your furniture, and off your fingers, no problem. And they have a new one that's in a mascara wand applicator, so you can throw it in your bag. I keep one next to the sink, and that way I can scrub under my fingernails with it. It works really good, and it does not dry out your hands at all. You know, a lot of times we try to use alcohol or something like that, and then our hands feel gross. Not with Amadex. So that was an excellent find. The other thing that helps is gloves in a bottle, which is like a bottle of lotion, hand lotion, and it kind of puts a little barrier on your hands. So if you know you're going to get inky, you can use that first, and then Amadex later, and your hands will be super clean. All right, that's pretty good. Good enough for TV, right? Okay. So let me grab this guy. Now this is Yupo paper, which again is plastic, so it may not have cut through perfectly the first time. So I'm just going to check it. Oh, it did. Good. Okay, we can pull off these guys. There we go. And you see, this is my giant mat that I was talking about. I cut off the edges, so it's nice and big. Okay, let's get this out of the way. That should be all the die cutting we're doing together. And then pickup stick has a nice little pokey tool on the other side. So can you see better from the back? I've got the little cluster of stars, the bigger star, and then our little comet, which we are going to add lights behind. And so it'll be our background. Kind of like that. And then we're gonna work on the blue piece here. All right, let's go ahead and add some alcohol ink to this guy. And I did save a scrap here just so that I can test it. And instead of using when we use alcohol inks, a lot of times we use the felt pads. The felt will grab onto glitter and then it can leave, you know, stuff behind. So I just grabbed a little makeup sponge and a binder clip. And I'm going to put some on there. The makeup sponge won't leave any like fuzz behind. And I'm testing this because I haven't done it before. Not sure what colors we're going to get, but I do like that. What does it look like? Yeah, that looks pretty good. Can you see that? And I might throw in a little bit of pink too, magenta. So I just wanted to test on that scrap first. And we'll add magenta later if we need to. Is everybody having fun today, hopping along? If anybody's just coming in now to the hop, well, everybody's been hopping along all day. And there are a lot of videos to come back to. And I think we've got 2 more streams after this, but we've got a redirect feature going. So you should be able, at the end of the video, to just follow. It should automatically redirect you to the next person unless you have that turned off. And but there's a link, so don't worry. And then I think Jana is up next after me. And then Debbie's going to finish up. And there is a whole playlist. So if you missed anything, you can catch the next 2 and then start over with the hop list. And speaking of hops, we also have a really cool hop going on with Pear Blossom Press. I think we've got 10 or 15 designers. There's a lot of designers in the hop. So lots of fun stuff. It's Light Up the Holidays. That's also going on separately, but those are all edited videos, so it's not a live stream hop. And you can catch that too. Okay, so I've got the black on there. I'm going to come back with some of this magenta because there is a lot of pink in my background. And I'm just going to go right on top of the black. Oh, that looks cool. And I don't have to do it everywhere, and I'm kind of let some of the blue live here too, I think. Yeah, let's see what that looks like. I think that looks cool. And then we've got a little bit of shimmer from the glitter. Okay, well, let me close this up. Otherwise, I will move it aside and it will spill, and you know what will happen then. All right. Put it just behind me here. And you're going to have to bear with me with my inky fingers till the end. I know you won't mind. All right. So I'm going to wipe any little bits from here off. And this is Barely Arts glue in here, so it'll stick to the acetate. And I'm going to just kind of go around the edge here. On the back of my glitter paper piece. You can definitely use double stick tape if you want, but I had way too much coffee to make that work. So I'm gonna just kind of go around the edges. And the acetate circle is slightly smaller. Sometimes when we're trimming acetate with the dies, it doesn't always cut really clean. So a couple of tips for that. You can sandwich it between 2 pieces of copy paper. That really helps a lot. And then the other tip is just let it create the outline. Like when you run it through, if it doesn't cut all the way through, just come back with your scissors. And like your nice little detail scissors will allow you to follow that line. And it almost just cuts like butter once you've got it started. Okay. So I'm going to stick this under a block out of the way. And I'm not sure, can you see? This is dirty now. I've got glue and acetate or ink on it. So I'm going to let it dry for a minute with a block on it. And then I can go back and clean up the acetate itself. And I want to take a second to just clean up my space a little bit here. So I've got a bottle of alcohol. Not wasting Amedex on my desk. Just clean that up and my fingers a little bit for now. Just so I don't accidentally transfer anything later. Okay. Now, I think, so this circle card base is fun. Got the little hinge already built in. It cuts it out, which have the hinge up, and that the light, the little astronaut is going to kind of hang off down here so that it will hopefully stand. That's my plan. So I'm going to work with it open with the hinge up here, and then I'm going to take the background piece and I want to kind of line it up here. I'm going to grab a pencil, and with these openings I'm just going to mark where I want my LEDs for my twinkle light to be. And for this one, because there are 3 stars, I want to go in the middle of it. So I'm hovering my pencil right in the center of those 3. When I move it out of the way, I can mark there. So I know I want 1, 2, 3 lights there. But this is, it's going to get complicated, guys, because we're going to put the light sandwiched here. And it has to, the wires for the light have to go somehow through the back of him and then through here, or we can just cut a little notch and then tape it down there. I think that's what we're gonna do. Yep, let's do that. Okay, sorry, I've never done this before. I just wanted to see if we can make it happen. All right, so first thing, let's get him about like that, where he's got enough room. Figure out, think like that. Yeah, okay, so he's gonna live basically like that. So I'm going to take my glue again, and I'm just putting it onto the edges where it will touch the card base. And it doesn't have to be perfect, and it doesn't matter if your glue comes out more because we're going to end up covering it anyhow. But now we can kind of gently fold these wires back like that, and we know that'll work. All right, let's attach this guy with some double stick tape. This is Rip and Stick, also from Trinity Stamps. I love this stuff, it's really nice. You can just rip it, it's double stick. So you peel it off. You don't need much at all. By the way, did I show you the twinkle lights? I should show you what twinkle lights are, right? So they come in packs of 2, 3, or 5 lights. This happens to be a pack of 5. They're like that. They just snap apart and they come with batteries. I did already install the battery, but let me take it out and show you. So this is one snapped apart. The battery, you want to install it with the plus side up. So from the front, you can see that there is a plus. The back side is kind of a waffle pattern. So you don't want the waffle pattern sticking up, you want the words and the plus sticking up. Slide it in. It only goes in one way. If you're trying to insert it from the other side and it won't go, that means you're sticking it in from the other side. That other side actually is a stopper, so you can't accidentally push the battery out too far. So once you stick your battery in, the button is the gold button. And then you have 3 little lights. These are twinkle lights. So the 3 lights, instead of staying on while you're holding the button, they're flashing. And they'll get more out of sync with each other. Each time you let go, they stop. Each time you start, they do their own thing. Okay, so I put the double stick tape on the back. It doesn't come that way because sometimes I want the adhesive here, sometimes I want the adhesive on the silver clip. It's up to you where you want it and how you want yours. And I'm just going to put it here, just like that, so that from the back we can't see anything but the wires, and we'll hide those in a second. But you see how you can't see it there? He's hiding. And then we're going to be gentle with these wires, okay? So I'm just going to kind of bring them over, and I'm not giving them a harsh fold because technically they're copper wires covered with red and blue plastic sleeves. And I'm just going to put a little bit of tape here. Doesn't matter if it goes over the battery, you could trim it if you want to. And then what we're going to do is take each LED and tape them down where we've got our pencil marks, okay? And there is a top and a bottom to the LED. Let me hold it up and I'll see if I can show you on camera. So there's a yellow dot, which doesn't show up super well, but when I press the button, see how it's bright there? If I flip it upside down where I can see the wires, it's not as bright. That's the back. It still works, but it works way better if you have the top facing the direction you want to see it, right? So these are wires. They'll do what you tell them, but sometimes you have to tell them like you mean it. So I just kind of flip it over like that. If you don't have Scotch tape, you can use whatever tape you want. Washi tape will hold it. However, if you go over the light with a colored tape or an opaque tape, then the light won't shine through as well. Okay. So that one. And then here we go one more time. We do have a mess of wires. I'll show you how to fix that in a second, but I worry about that later. All right. My last one is over my pencil mark. There we go. And then before I get crazy, I do want to just give it a little test. And I think that works. Can you see the lights coming through? I think that's fun. Okay, so now let's clean up our wires. And as you're doing that, just make sure that you've taped the heads down nice and securely, because sometimes those heads will want to flip as you're messing with the wires. I can see that my yellow dots are all still facing up. And then see how I've just kind of gently curled up the wire there? You don't want sharp bends, no sharp folds, okay? Sharp folds might crack the copper inside and then your light might not work. So be careful about that. Okay, so this is ugly. We'll cover it all up, don't worry. But let's go ahead and put some vellum behind our windows here so that will diffuse the light. And I have a scrap because scraps work great. Don't be afraid of your scraps. And my glue. Everybody worries about seeing adhesive on vellum. Since we're doing it this way, I just put the adhesive on the back of my cardstock piece, the Yupo paper here. I'll never see that adhesive, right? If I were trying to outline it on the vellum, that would be harder. But we're not. All right, that piece will work there. This is kind of a messy piece. Now, sometimes when I'm using lights, I'll use colored glitter, or I'm sorry, colored vellum, so that the light will shine through in a color, which is a lot of fun. I will caution you, if your cardstock is white, not Yupo paper, and you put a weird shaped piece of vellum that has color to it, the light will glow through and sometimes that whole outline will show through. So in this case, it's no problem at all. But if I'm cutting like yellow, like for a candle flame, I'll usually cut it into a circle so that I get a nice glow. Again, this time it doesn't matter at all because we're never going to see that. think that's big enough. Yep. All right. And this is the one where the light is in the center, but it'll light up all three. You could have put it behind one star directly and the other two will light up, just not as bright. But I wanted it to kind of glow out of all three equally. Here we go. And because it's a circle, it's a little harder to figure out exactly where. But something basically like that, right? Yeah, there we go. I think that looks cool. Okay, so
Stephanie asked if it was called UFO, but I think you just...
Oh, UPO. Y-U-P-O. Let me see.
Why?
Yep. It's buried. Sorry, guys. Y-U-P-O. I think it comes in different colors too. I think there's even black, which black would be really cool for doing this, but you need to use some of the white alcohol ink in there too. So that is, of course, a possibility. Okay, so let's talk about how thick this card is going to get. We have the battery over here is about 3 millimeters. Typically, when I make a light up card, I would make this whole thing 3 millimeters tall, so there's plenty of light for plenty of room for the light to glow through the vellum. If I have the light just right on top, if I have the hole right down on top of the light, the whole thing doesn't glow nearly as well. I want a little bit of elevation, but I don't have to be as tall as my battery. So in this case, I'm going to split the difference. I'm going to use 2 millimeter foam. And then we'll have that. So it's going to be kind of thick, but it's going to fit into, I think it's going to fit into, well, this sticks out far. Who knows? It may end up in an A6 envelope, but it'll work. Don't worry, guys. I promise. Okay. So this is only 2 millimeters thick. It's not as tall as the battery. Normally I would not use this for a light up card by itself, but because the lights are over here separate, it's going to work just fine. And I'm not covering up the holes. And one thing that you would have to worry about, again, if your cardstock was like light, like white, would be boxes. Can you guys see that? There we go. You would have to worry about boxes of light, shadows that would come up from the foam tape. But because this UPO paper is plastic and I've got all of this dark color on the front, you will not see that. So I'm just going to put that wherever I want support. And if you peel off the other side of the release paper, your foam will curve and tell it to do.
In this case, you could use thicker foam, right?
Yeah, in this case, you could definitely go straight on top if you wanted to, but you would get hot spots. So I want a little bit of room for the light to bounce around before it comes through the vellum and shines out so that more of my cutouts will glow. Does that make sense? Okay. So just getting it started, then I can pull off the release paper, and I'm not sure. Foam is life. Oh. Foam is also the bane of my existence at the moment. For those of you who are familiar with our world's best foam tape and have been missing it, so have I. I hoard the last little bits that I have. We are having an issue with our manufacturer. Yeah, it's made out of unobtainium, my husband says. Yeah, it's very hard to get right now. Our manufacturer can't get it. And they said when they can, eventually, the cost is going to be like 3 times what it normally was, which does not work for me. So we've started working with other manufacturers and trying to source it from other places. Fingers crossed we'll have it again soon. I don't know how soon. All right. And I don't need all this foam, but I have it in my hand, so back on the roll with you. I'm going to peel off the release paper from the middle. Like this. We can go on top of the wires, no problem, but we do want to remember where the lights were. I think this was the comet, this was the big star, and this was the cluster. I'm going to press that button and hold it down. Oops, there's a hair. Die cut hair. All right, hold it down, and I'm not committing firmly with my foam tape. If you wanted to, you could put glue on the back of this foam tape, but I live life on the edge. All right, that lines up. Oh, here we go. See that? Now they're all blinking at once. But they'll get more out of sync as we go, that kind of thing. So I think it's fun, and that part was pretty easy, right? All right, but we have to get this part on top and make it a shaker. And we can do that, that's not a problem. Wow, this is going together faster than I thought. I wasn't sure how much to plan ahead, but I certainly didn't want to not finish for you guys. But that's good because this is going to allow us a little bit of drying time since I'm using wet glue to adhere this. Here we go. And again, that's that Barely Arts glue that'll stick to the Yupo paper, because remember, Yupo is plastic. Okay, and real quick, I'm going to test it. It stands up. Yay! That's what I was hoping for. Okay, let's take this guy and stick it here to dry for a while. And then we also need to stamp the word push where the button is. And it doesn't have to be perfectly perfect, but it does need to be in the right neighborhood. Okay, and the other thing is, this plus the thickness of our chipboard means that this guy sticks up a little bit higher. So I think I'm going to build him up a little bit, not a ton, but a little bit. I think I need at least one more layer of him. And then we can put our shaker together and clean up the window. And then we'll make our magic wand. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about the magic wand. Did any of you guys see the live yesterday? Carrie and Tracy Fear were live and they were doing fun stuff. Tracy made a really pretty luminary out of like black glitter paper for Halloween. And then Carrie made the shaker with the magic wand with magnets. So fun. Okay. We're letting that dry. We're going to die cut another bit of him. And then we also have some stenciling on the inside if there's time. Okay, so this guy here. And we'll just cut him out of yellow, which of course I cleaned up and put away, but all my scraps are organized. So it's easy to grab. More of this. I'm going to probably cut him out 2 times over here. And I do need to move my alcohol ink, which I stuck right in front of my die cutting machine. Otherwise, you know what will happen then. The one thing I wish was that this die cutting machine went faster. Need to give it some steroids. But other than that, I really love it. Makes my life easier. And I am going to cut it out once or twice more, just so I get the enough buildup. Oh, Jana's coming up after me, right? I wasn't nervous until YouTube didn't work. I'm like, no, what are we doing? And then, of course, you just, all the nerves kick in, right? All right.
What's the name of your die cutting machine?
The die cutting machine is the Go Power and Emboss from Couture Creations. If you ever have die cutting questions or die cutting machines or any machine questions, ask Jen Gross at Journey Coach Jen. I don't know if she's here right now, but Jen is like, she's the official taste tester of every single machine in this industry. She gets every die cutting machine. She buys them. She doesn't get them for free. She buys them. She tests them. She tells us what's good and what's not good. And this particular one, I don't think it's there right now, but Amazon had it for under $200, which for me was great because a die cutting machine costs almost that anyhow for at least a full size, you know, the 6-inch at least. And not only that, it's electric. So that was great. I really like it. And it has, you can use different sandwiches. So definitely, I enjoy that one. I'm not sure if you can get it on Amazon right now for that price, but you should be able to find it somewhere. Let's see.
Looks like it's not available.
Oh, well, all right. You cannot buy it on Amazon at the moment. Sorry. All right. So these 2 layers, I'm going to just kind of trim off. I don't care if it's perfect. I just want to get additional thickness. And maybe I should do 1 or 2 more. We'll see.
$199 on the Stamp Doctor.
Oh, Micah says it's $199 on the Stamp Doctor right now. It's definitely a good machine, guys. I haven't needed to buy new plates for it yet, just simply because I bought the big, whatchamacallit, mat, the magnetic, the big one from scrapbook.com. There, I can't, the words are gone, but I did have enough extra. Remember I said I cut it apart because that big one was too big for the machine. And so I had extra for my little tiny Hefty Doodle machine, which I keep on my desk and I use a lot. For this particular one, Jen also recommended, because I needed a shim. She said, do you have any of those little cutting boards that are like flimsy? And I said, yes, I do. So Micah, if you're looking for that, it's gone. It is now out here in the garage cut apart. Okay. So this is not exactly the same thickness.
Is it a magnetic mat?
This one is magnetic. I think they have that both, but the magnetic mat, some of them, like the Sizzix magnetic mat, just has a bunch of little dots of magnets. So when you put a small die on it, it'll shift, it'll move. This one is not. The whole thing is like a sheet of magnet, almost like, what was that other electronic machine, the Gemini? Warp, like wearing out and warping. This guy doesn't warp. And it's magnetic on both sides, I think. So, let's see. Yeah, I think it is. So, I really like that one. But I did have to use a coping saw to cut it, just FYI. But it's just a handsaw, so not scary tools. Okay, so back to the card. Let's do this. I'm going to glue these 2 layers together. And we are going to need some foam tape in between. There we go. Again, it doesn't matter if this one's perfect. I just want to get in the neighborhood there. And I'm going to put some of my rip and stick there and some foam tape here. And then before I attach this layer, I need to stamp the word push. And I really hope it works on that little door. I think it will. The other thing about the button is the button doesn't have to be in exactly the right place. It just needs to be in the right neighborhood. Because if you push slightly over here or slightly over there, the paper will just push it all down. Okay, and foam tape. Let's try the three millimeter. Is that the right thickness? Oh yeah, okay, so 3 millimeter. and it happens to be black. So I'm going to use a little bit out here in the flag area and a little bit here. And I'll put one more, just a small piece here so it doesn't sink. It's nice to have all the thicknesses of foam tape, right? So I'll go ahead and pull up the release paper for all of these guys. How are we doing on time? Oh, we only have 15 minutes. All right, I'll go faster. Sorry, Jana. No worries. Oh, well, hopefully your YouTube will work. All right, lining it up. There we go. And then I am going to test. Yes, so if I stamp it on the door, it will work. And I'm going to put the pin in this just because you know what'll happen. Okay, so let's stamp this real fast. Take the little tiny word push here and hope that it fits well enough. And either way, I'm going to send this card to Debbie anyhow because it's her birthday. So Debbie, you know where to push. Archival. This works.
Jenna says she's going to talk to you.
Oh, all right.
I think
Well,
she's really worried.
all right. I may go over a couple minutes, Jenna. I just don't want to screw up the schedule. All right, that worked. Now, normally I would say clean that up and put it away right away before you forget, because otherwise you lose that stamp. But we're running out of time-ish. And I can't glue it on yet either because the window has to happen next. Okay, so let's make this a shaker, and we have to put a magnet on the back of him because he's the one who's gonna like go around. And then I have these like planets that maybe, oh, we can't hide him there because oh yeah, we can. All right. Let's just commit and be fine with it. And because it's space, it doesn't matter if it's like upside down, right side up. Doesn't matter. There is no right side up. Okay. Now I have to clean this, you guys. Sorry. Give me 2 seconds to clean this. Otherwise, it's going to be so ugly, and that would be terrible. And the front we'd be able to clean later, but the back we wouldn't. So let's... a little bit of alcohol on a microfiber cloth. We're good there. And then... let me make sure I don't have, oh, I do have glue streaks. Glue streaks down here, but I don't want to lift any of that color. Where is the glue? Can't tell. The glue has to be on the front, right? Because we didn't put any glue on the back. Does that look right? All right, we're going to hope for the best. Okay, so we need to add a magnet to the back of this guy so that the magic wand will actually work. And I'm going to grab a sticky spot, stick the magnet down with that. There we go. Remember that powder tool, in case there's any outside the edges, we don't want it to accidentally get stuck somewhere where we don't want it. But now, if there's any outside the edges, it won't stick. There we go, he's good. We need some stars because it's a shaker. we're going to call that good. Oh, I wonder if the magnets are going to work through it. Well, we're going to find out. Okay, so now let's go ahead and close it up. When Carrie did this, she didn't have a layer of lights with like 2mm foam in between. And remember how I said I had too much caffeine? I did. So some of the glue is over there. So I don't want to shake it after I put this on until my glue dries, because the wet glue around the edges will grab those stars and then they won't be able to leave. So we'll just do this for a second. Then we can glue him on. And he'll light up. And be right here. It was, Carrie was on the Trinity Stamps channel yesterday. It was the Halloween special. It was Carrie and Tracy Peer, the other T. I call her and Tanisa both T. There's two T's. And Jen Gross was on yesterday for a minute too. Okay, so that's going to sit for a minute. Let the glue dry. Let's make our wand, and then this card's done. All right, so with the wand, actually it's going to work either way. So what I want to do, I want to take one of these stars and flip it upside down. So you know how it dies kind of bevel the edge, and I want both sides to be pretty, right? So one side's going to be upside down, one side's going to be right side up. We're going to just put a glue dot, or in this case a sticky spot, in the middle here. Take our magnet. There we go. Another one on this side. And I did not line that up straight, but that's okay. And before we add that one, let's glue our wand together. Layers, which is about the thickness of the magnet. We're going to add one more. But this one more layer, because this is also symmetrical, the star is symmetrical, and this, I'm going to make sure that it's on upside down so that both sides are pretty side out. If it were fabric, the wrong sides would be touching. Does that make sense? Probably. If they're not symmetrical, then you can't do that. But in this case, they are. And I should mention this frame and this part, those are both from the new add-on for the snow globe, those two pieces. Okay, and then let's add a little bit of glue here for our wand. Whoops, it's going to be a long wand. That's a little bit too tall. Let's cut it. A little more glue. Try that one more time. That looks better. Now, Carrie made a really cute little pocket to put inside to catch her wand, which is smart. I didn't, because I just saw the idea yesterday, so I only had a little bit. Okay. Look. So, but she did it from the back side. So flip it over. Oh, the magnets, it's too thick. So we can only make him move this way, or by shaking him. Can you see him? All right. Maybe I should have made that yellow. Maybe I'll do that again. Put this, and then we can shake him. And we do have the magic wand, so he can go where you want him to go. It's fun, right? All right. Where are we at time? Oh, we've got 5 minutes. Oh, okay, good. Well, I'm going to just talk for a couple more minutes, and I am going to pull out envelopes and tell you what size fits. Thinking this is A6. Yep, A6 is the right size for that. So maybe not a red one, but A6, because I have him off to the side. A7 is too big. He's drowning. And A2, let's see A2. A2 doesn't work. Too small. So you need an A6 envelope or a DIY envelope. Yeah. He's fun, right? Can you guys see him lighting up too? I like it. All right. Yay.
He loved it. Everybody's saying it's the best sugar card they've ever seen.
It's fun. Well, you guys have to go see Carrie's card from yesterday too. And also check out T's Luminary. That was really, really cool too. She found some like flickering LEDs that, you know, the little battery operated LEDs that tea lights. So cute. It was so good. You guys, she did such a good. Definitely catch the replay. Also, make sure that you hop along and see the rest of today's hop. And then if you missed earlier, you can come back to it. And then definitely check out the edited video hop that we've got going on. It's Light Up the Holidays. That's what it's called. I was trying to remember. Drawing a blank. Whenever the camera comes on, my head goes empty. Oh, we forgot the moon. We still have a minute, right? We have 3 minutes. All right. Let's do the moon inside. Because I think that's so cute. So the inside, he's yellow, right? So we can actually write. But let's do, I don't think we need, like, right? And then one of my most favorite inks to do just like some color, but you don't know what color exactly. I mean, you could match with, I could bring out like honey or something like that. But I really like fade out ink for blending, stenciling like a little bit of who knows what background, like just little bits. So this is the moon, what is it called? Moon layers. And I need a little bit of tape here just so that oh no, my wide tape, that's what I want, which is right here. Just so I don't accidentally go over the edge. And I'll show you in a second how cool this fade out ink looks. And it'll dry back a little bit too, but it's good, right? Doesn't that look kind of planety? Maybe I'll add a little more, just a smidge. Over here. But then that way you can still write your message, but we bring a little bit of the outside in. And I want, what do I want? I want a little more down here. I'm overthinking this. Please excuse me while I overthink this. But I don't want it to go off the edge because we're not doing that with this card. Micah approves. Hopefully you guys do too. I like it. I like it, I like it, I like it. If this were a regular class with me, I would tell you make sure you sign the back. Always sign the back of your card. It is a piece of art and you made it by hand. If you don't like the way it turned out, sign somebody else's name, but you should always sign it. Okay. And real quick before I sign off, do you think I should make those stars yellow? Maybe. Debbie, if you get this in the mail and it has the yellow, make a smaller one there. That's what I'll do. All right. There we go. Thanks, guys. Thank you for hopping along. Thank you for joining me today. And definitely go see Jana, and I'll be over there. See you soon. Bye. Now I have to figure out how to end the stream. Bye, guys.